Let's see if I throw up or not.
As a father of a daughter, this incident will haunt me for the rest of my life. My 16-year-old daughter, Emily, grew up to be the brightest young lady, and my wife, Rosalind, and I couldn't be prouder of her. Emily was so jolly that she made friends wherever she went. It was the month of November. Everyone was getting ready to celebrate the winter festivals coming our way. Our family celebrated Thanksgiving in my brother's farmhouse every year in Ohio. So we drove there a week before Thanksgiving to make some cheerful memories. One morning, I was headed to the bank to finish some important paperwork before leaving for Ohio, when I noticed a boy standing on the sidewalk facing our house and looking at the window of my daughter's room. He was smiling while staring at Emily's room. I was about to knock him out, thinking he was stalking her, but when I looked up, I saw Emily was standing in front of her window and waving at him with a blushed face. I realized now that they know each other, so it will be better to talk to Emily first before hurling on this boy. I left and
Would have been
decided
put
to
in
sit
jail
down
anyway
with
if he
Emily
did.
and talk that night. After finishing dinner, Emily was heading upstairs. I stopped her and told her to sit next to me. I wanted to talk to you about that boy. Who? What are you saying, Dad? Relax, Emily. You don't have to be afraid. I just wanted to know who he is. Her face turned red and she hesitated for some time. Honey, don't be afraid. We just want the best for you. Come on, tell us about him, Rosalind added. His name is Roland. He is in my class. Okay. Where does he live? 2 blocks away. His dad is the local sheriff. Really? That's good. I know the sheriff. So how long are you guys friends? We met at a science fair. He is a nice guy, Dad. We like each other. Okay, I don't have any issues, but we need to set some boundaries for your safety. No matter how much Rosalind mocked me for becoming a bit possessive about my daughter, it was natural. I set the common boundaries that any dad would to protect his teenage daughter in her growing years. Soon I started to see Roland walking Emily home after school. I couldn't find anything wrong with him, and being the sheriff's son, I was a bit relieved, thinking maybe he is better than other high school boys.
Maybe.
One day I was coming home from work, and on my way, I stopped at the local department store to buy some necessary things before leaving for Thanksgiving. There I met the local sheriff, Mr. James Truman. He was shopping for some groceries as well. I walked up to him and said, "Hello, James." "Hey, how are you, David?" I am good. So, any plans for Thanksgiving?" "Not much. Going to stay home with my son, I guess." "Talking about your son, are you aware that he and my daughter are becoming friends now?" I expected him to be happy about it, but instead, his face turned all serious and he replied, "I see. What happened? Is something bothering you?" "No, just hoping they will be friends and nothing else." Saying this, he walked past me, and I felt very humiliated. I couldn't move for a few minutes as his sudden rude behavior caught me off guard. I came home and told my wife about this
Sus.
encounter. She too couldn't guess what could be the reason behind Sheriff James' off-putting attitude. I mean, both the kids belong to good families, then why did he seem so upset his son was going out with my daughter? I didn't
Who
tell Emily
knows?
all about this because I didn't want to complicate things for her at such a young age. We started to pack for our trip, and slowly this matter slipped away from my mind. 2 nights before our trip to Ohio, Emily came to me and said she doesn't want to go to her uncle's farmhouse this year. I asked her why. Emily remained silent, keeping her face down. I asked if she wished to spend Thanksgiving with Ronald, and her face lit up immediately. I couldn't see my daughter sad, so I told her Ronald can come with us if he wants to. Emily ran to call him, but make sure his father agrees only then. The main reason why I allowed Ronald to tag along was to keep my daughter close and also not to break her heart in this vulnerable age. The
Sure
next
about that?
morning, Ronald came to my house. We talked about this entire trip thing, and I was stunned to see how confident he was. He was way more mature than half of the kids his age. He said his father has approved, and he is ready to come with us. Without much ado, we hopped into the car and got on the road. Ronald was very well behaved, and my wife Rosalind kept saying the entire journey how cute they both looked. After driving for 3 hours, we reached Crystal Lake.
3 hours. Oof.
The sun was about to set. A dying yellow light mixed with a blue night sky made the horizon look like a dream. My brother and his family greeted us in the house, and Emily introduced everyone to Ronald. To my surprise, Ronald won everyone over in a very short span. He was helping in the kitchen, playing with the kids, and also showed interest when we watched the game. It didn't feel at all like he was an outsider. Although he was settling completely well, I couldn't help but feel a bit weird about all this. Don't know why. Things were seeming too good to be true to me at that moment.
I don't blame you.
As the night fell, we all sat down for dinner, and everyone was laughing and cheering. I was about to shove a big piece of beef steak in my mouth when my phone rang. I noticed it on the couch, so I got up and walked to get it. Everyone else didn't pay much attention to me and kept enjoying themselves. It was a call from an unknown number. As I picked it up, I could hear sirens of cop cars driving at fast speed as the sound of wind hovered through the phone speaker. Hello? Who is it? David, you must listen to me. This is Sheriff Truman. Act calm and go somewhere where my son can't hear you. Please, don't ask any questions or take my name. Just do what I say. Even though I was confused like hell, my instinct said to follow the sheriff's instructions. Without expressing anything, I slowly walked out of the room to the back garden of the house. I closed the glass door behind me and no one noticed me. Ronald was laughing with everyone else. I am alone now. What the hell is going on, James? Where is Ronald now? In the living room eating dinner with my family. Will you please tell me what's going on here? David, my son is a deranged psychopath, and the only reason I wanted to keep him away from your daughter was to keep them both safe. I know I should have done something earlier, but as a father, I kept on burying the vicious crimes he did since he was 4 years old. First, he killed his pet dog, and then started harming animals. But when he bludgeoned my wife to death, knowing she was pregnant with another child, I realized what devil we had brought into this world. He can't share those whom he thinks as his close ones. I didn't permit him to travel with you guys, so he threatened me with a gun and tied me up in the basement. When I finally managed to set myself free, I noticed he was going with one of my guns. He has taken them all and going to murder your entire family to get Emily just for himself. You must stop him before becoming violent. Keep a close eye on him. I am coming to your place. I have already tracked down your location from this call. Just, please, don't make him mad or he will snap out like a venomous snake. Saying all this in one go, the sheriff disconnected the call and I turned around with fearful eyes to my loving family, who was now seen laughing with a deranged murderer that has come with a plan to finish them all. I uttered to myself that I must keep calm and protect my family. I got inside and went straight to Ronald's room. My idea was to take the guns away, but as I opened his rucksack, I saw dozens of knives and other basic weapons, but the gun was missing. Seems like you and my dad both want to ruin my Thanksgiving this year. I turned back and found Ronald standing behind me with a gun. I lunged at him to take it away, but he dodged carefully and hit me on the head with the metal end of the gun. I fell unconscious on the floor with throbbing pain and heard Ronald say, "Happy Thanksgiving."
Psycho.
I don't remember when I came back to my senses, but a squashy sound, followed by a metallic smell, started to take over my drowsy mind. I opened my eyes slowly and saw Emily tied up to a chair with a huge bruise on her head. She was unconscious as well. But as I laid my eyes around, I realized the danger is much bigger than this. All my family members, my wife, my brother, his wife, and his 2 kids were lying on the floor, bludgeoned to death. Yes, Ronald killed them all. What have you done? Oh, David, you're awake. Nothing. Just getting what is mine. My dad had never understood me, but don't know why I think you will. I love your daughter, and I want her. I love her so much that I can't share her with anyone, not even her family. Not even you. He raised his gun at me once again. And just then, the main door slammed open and I heard 6 gunshots back to back. Bullets pierced his chest like crazy and he fell on the floor, vomiting blood. As his lifeless body fell on the ground, I saw Sheriff Truman standing behind him with his empty gun. That night, a father shot his son to save another father and his daughter. I surely lost my family at the hands of a psychopath, and this pain will never go away. But whenever I think about Truman, who will have to live with this realization that he killed his son, I find my suffering small compared to him. Emily and I don't celebrate Thanksgiving anymore because neither of us feel thankful about anything in this life anymore.
Damn. Now I'm scared to ask people if they even celebrate now. Oh man.
And just tell you a dark story. You know what happened last year. Okay. Oh God. God. I got like who? I don't know if these are like I don't know if well whether they're true or not. Whoever like puts them together, I applaud them for these. Like they're terrifying.
Yeah.
They're terrifying. Like oh my God. They need more subscribers, without a doubt.